Hi, everyone. Welcome to Q the Next Leader. I'm Angela Rizzo, your host, and very excited today to be joined by Matt Love, Director of Dealer Services for MaxOffer by CarMax. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hello, Angela. It is great to see you again. Thanks so much for having me on here. Excited to talk to you.
So, why don't we start by having you introduce yourself, your name, your title, your company, what you do there, how long you've been in automotive. Let's start
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Gosh, Angela, I have been in this industry for 19 years. And as you mentioned, I'm the Director of Dealer Services here at CarMax, and I lead our Max Offer program. So the Max Offer program is a dealer valuation tool where dealers can obtain a value from CarMax for their customers' trade-ins or their other inventory that they have. And just provides a very powerful data point for dealers to make the most informed decision. As you know, we are the number one retailer of used cars, so we have a lot of data there. Also, I don't think everybody's aware we're a vertically integrated company. So we have our acquisition channels, we have a logistics arm where we move cars, we recondition vehicles, and most people would know us for selling cars retail to consumers. But we also have our CarMax auctions where we wholesale cars directly to dealers. And so that gives us really powerful data points when you take the data not only from our retail side, but also from the wholesale side to be able to provide competitive offers on vehicles and provide that information to our dealers. My role there is I help lead our team across the country that supports our dealer partners in the program. And I'm also involved in some of the strategy and product enhancements to make sure that we are supporting our dealers as best we possibly can.
That's great. We have a new integration between MaxOffer by CarMax and VINCUE. What excites you most about this integration?
First and foremost, it's our companies. We have two incredible companies that have very similar values. We have amazing people. And I can say that with confidence, having spent time not only with you, but also your founders, Chris and Danny. So just having two companies that are aligned with similar values to support dealers is the first and foremost thing I'm really excited about. As far as the other area where I get really excited, and that's the integration, because it's important to understand what we all face as dealers today. And that's the challenge of making the most effective and accurate decisions in the most efficient ways. So this integration between MaxOffer and VinCue really helps dealers by overcoming the challenge of inefficiencies. They can get the offer right within the VinCue platform from MaxOffer, and they don't have to go back and forth between two different systems.
So, are there other ways that the integration will help VinCue dealers provide more competitive and transparent trade-in offers to their customers?
Yeah, so I love this question, Angela. I love the term transparent. So I want to give you a little bit of background here before I get into the specifics around competitive and transparent offers. And, transparency is one of the fundamental words that CarMax was founded on, was transparency for retail consumers. We do not negotiate. We have a one price retail offering. And then we have four key values that are really the foundation of how we operate. And those values are: one, do the right thing. That's exposed within this integration by making the same great offer that we would make to a consumer for a vehicle to the dealer. And that's transparency, and that's doing the right thing. The second one is put people first. And when you think about that from the standpoint of consumers and dealers, we are thinking about how do we help consumers and dealers in this industry. It's a very fragmented industry, as we all know. And so putting people first and helping everyone win together is really a key component. Third one is just what I mentioned. It's winning together. I use the term often of, with a rising tide, all ships rise. And when you talk about a fragmented industry and we are working together to help support each other, that is essentially what happens. When consumers win, dealers win, the industry wins, and we're all winning together. And then the last one is go for greatness. So there's not a single individual in this industry that doesn't want to win and doesn't want to be successful. And when you combine the previous three values I mentioned, that's really what we're all about. And we're all about doing it not only with great companies like you, but also our dealer partners. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I'll give you an example. If you are a consumer and you go to a dealership and they give you an offer for your vehicle trade-in, and they can also give you the MaxOffer backed by CarMax side by side while you're still sitting in that dealership, that's competition right in front of you for your vehicle. And that's also transparency. And that really helps with consumers and really their confidence and trust in how their vehicle is being valued.
So, well, I want to dive into a little bit about the dealer benefits because sometimes dealers will hear CarMax by, and that is a competitor. You guys are the big box real retailers. But now we're integrating our data. Can you talk through a little bit how the backed offers from MaxOffer are actually going to work for a VinCue dealer?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think you are mentioning kind of the elephant in the room, and that is some dealers have a misconception that MaxOffer platform is strictly to sell cars to CarMax, and that is not true. More often than not, our dealers do not sell their cars that they obtain a value on from MaxOffer to CarMax. But there are times, because I mentioned that some of our listeners are going to say, "Well, Matt, you're saying that, but you just reported in Q3 that you bought over 32,000 cars from dealers." That's true. That also speaks to the amount of dealer partners that we have, the amount of vehicles that they're obtaining an offer on, and the amount of times that it makes the best business decision for that dealership to transact and exit the car immediately with CarMax because it's fast, it's efficient, and it's free. So there will be times where that happens. But when you look at and think about making competitive offers, acquisition is a big challenge for dealers. It's talked about on a regular basis. And we've had many of our dealers tell us they acquire more cars because they're more confident in the offer that they're putting on the vehicle because they've now obtained this critical data point from CarMax that is a firm offer backed by a well-known brand that not only are they familiar with, but a lot of their customers are familiar as well. So one of the challenges, though, we see, Angela, is given the constraints of time and having to move back and forth between one system to another, is that not all cars get the MaxOffer value. But that's where this integration is so critical because now we're reducing the amount of time it takes when a dealer doesn't have to go from one system to another. They could still do that now. Both of our products are very powerful individually, but when you put them together, now you have the efficiency to get a value on all your vehicles. Because if it's a valuable data point on one car, it's a valuable data point on all cars.
Yeah, one of the other things I was thinking of was, thinking about, well, what are some of the specific advantages that this integration is going to bring to dealerships who are really looking to improve or enhance their vehicle acquisition strategies and capabilities?
Yeah, so I think the integration just creates the efficiency, a lot of the things that we've talked about to now obtain that data point on all the cars that they're looking to value. I mentioned our CarMax auctions offering earlier, and in Q3 we sold over 130,000 cars to dealers across the country through our CarMax auctions channel. And so when you're looking at all the data from a retail side, from a wholesale side, it should be improving the confidence of that dealer that these data points on all cars, regardless of maybe any misconceptions they may have about who wants a car, who doesn't want a car. Like we have an availability to exit that vehicle and in a way that will allow us to make a competitive offer on it. So instead of saying like, oh, I'm not going to enter this car into a platform because I've now got to move over here and change systems, I don't have time for that. What's right here? It's already in the VinCue platform that the dealer is operating in with all the other valuable data points they have. And this just gives them one more really powerful one to make the most informed decision for their business.
So, Matt, how do you envision this partnership improving the trade-in experience for both dealers and for their customers?
Yes. Well, I think this all starts with the customer, Angela. And I'll just give you an example where we all know right now in this industry, affordability is a big challenge for multiple reasons, be it finance rates, the price of a retail vehicle. We're also seeing historical highs in negative equity. So making sure that we can deliver a competitive offer to a customer could be the difference of whether or not that customer can actually transact on a vehicle that they desire or not. So when that occurs and the competitive offer is given and the consumer can transact, now they've won. They just were able to transact, get the car that they desired. And when that occurred, the dealer just won. And the dealer could choose to sell it to CarMax through MaxOffer. They may not. But either way, when the dealer wins alongside the consumer, the industry wins. And we're all winning together because that created a transaction that also allows another transaction to occur in the future again.
Sounds great. Let's talk about our technical and strategic insights. So, what were some of the considerations or challenges that we came across, that you guys came across and we came across in developing this integration, and how were they addressed?
Yeah, so some of the considerations was definitely to think about what's going to help a dealer in their business and in their lives. And that was to save time and effectively manage their appraisals and their values on vehicles from one view rather than two. So we wanted to also make sure that the power of MaxOffer individually and the power of VinCue individually could coexist together and you still get the great experiences from both of the products. So we want to help save them time. We want to deliver an offering that can kind of supercharge their appraisal lane by helping them make the most informed decisions. And ultimately that retains our commitment of empowerment in the used car business through transparency.
How does this collaboration align with MaxOffer's broader mission to streamline the trade-in process?
Yeah, so going back to the empowerment word, I mean, this is really empowering dealers with the same great offers that we share with customers. I mentioned that there's a scenario where if you are a customer, you go to a CarMax location, you get an offer on your trade-in, and then you go to the dealership, and let's say the dealership has the MaxOffer and VinCue integration. The dealer enters that VIN into their VinCue platform. As soon as they enter the VIN, they will actually see that this is an active appraisal by CarMax within the 7 days. And they'll see the offer that the customer got. Now, to be clear, I want to say, like, we don't share customer information. This is strictly the VIN, vehicle condition, and the value. But making that transparency immediately for the dealer to know there's another offer out there and what it is for them to leverage however they deem necessary, that's really the transparency and collaboration that we've been looking for. And so partnering with VinCue was really a no-brainer because we all share the same commitment to do the right thing and empower dealers with clear and powerful information. And that's exactly what this integration is doing.
Well, let's look ahead. What are some of the goals for the MaxOffer and VinCue partnership, let's say in its first year? And how do you plan to measure success?
Yeah, that's a great one. So, I'm talking about all the things that I believe this integration is going to do for dealers, and we want to see that lived out. We want to see this lived out and the results witnessed by the dealer. The second thing is the parity across our products and making sure that this experience is what we would both expect it to be for our dealers. And we're going to measure it not only through usage, but results that dealers will share with us, and any amount of feedback, vast feedback that we're going to want from our dealers through multiple channels to be able to continue making this better into the future.
Matt, do you foresee this integration evolving to include additional features or capabilities in the future?
This one gets me really excited. Again, going back to who we are as a company, both of our companies, the people that we have, and I truly believe we're kind of scratching the surface right here. So when you combine the people that are within our organizations and the direction that we're both headed, I know there's a lot of things that are going to be really powerful and helpful for dealers right over the horizon.
All right, let's talk about the broader industry perspective. How do you see integrations like this, the VINCUE and MaxOffer integration, shaping the way that dealers approach vehicle acquisition over the next few years?
Yeah, gosh. Well, as you and I both know, industry's evolved tremendously. And there's a lot of technology and innovation out there that are making dealers' lives easier and improving their business performance. So I know that that will continue to happen. I also see dealers leveraging this technology to be more informed about inventory rather than seeking it out. And I think we've been talking a lot about competition transparency through a specific vehicle and vehicle offerings of values on cars. But what we're really doing here also is creating competition within the industry for what are offers to dealers. And I think that is only going to help dealers into the future, as there's also more competition here. And it's gonna happen by dealers leveraging technology and integrations like the one we have to experience the benefits in this shift.
Last question, Matt. I know you're a busy guy, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
Oh,
I
this
know
is great.
I could talk to you all day. What advice would you give to dealerships looking to maximize the benefits of platforms like MaxOffer and VinCue?
Gosh, Angela. Well, first things first, I will never give anyone advice that I wouldn't give myself. And I have to give myself this advice often. And the advice is take the time to gain the time. So we're often presented with new technology and products. And I know oftentimes I don't take the time. The best example I can give you is my iPhone, and I consistently get updates. And oftentimes I go into my phone, I'm looking to complete a task, and there's an update, and it wants to tell me about this update. And I don't have time for that update, right? I don't make the time. So I continue about my objective, and then all of a sudden I will experience something from someone else. And I'm thinking, how in the world did you do that? That's an amazing feature. Like, oh, well, it was in the update. So that's just one that happens to me far too often. And it's a matter of taking the time to gain the time, but that includes change. And so I understand changes can be a scary word. It's the era of information overload, so it's not easy. But I do know there are big benefits to gain from taking the time. And this integration, supported by VinCue and MaxOffer, will have an impact on our dealers' businesses, and it is worth their time. So take the time to gain the time and experience the results.
Matt, I think that's great advice, and it's a great note to end on. Thank you again for your time, for your partnership, for your support. I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Oh, me as well, Angela. Thank you so much. I look forward to coming back on here again, and I look forward to seeing you soon.